Okay, so today we are stick baiting. We've got our Maria stick baits that we are bringing into the country now. So Mark and I want to get lots of practice using them and catching kingfish on them. So we're out with Roy of Fish and Dips Charters, who this is what he specialises in. He's been doing it for years. A few pointers, mate. What are you, first about finding these fish? I know you're fishing structure, so you're going upwind, casting towards the structure, drifting over the top of it, then casting back. Is that about right?
Yeah, also looking for when we find our structure, just also trying to find out what the tide's doing. So
Yes.
the kingfish normally sit with the pressure side.
Yep.
We're gonna position our boat upstream so we can drift into it. Then preferably cast our lures to make them swim against current.
Right.
So, for example, if our car going from south to north,
Yes.
we're going to position ourselves north, drifting south, and trying to make our lure swim a bit harder in the water.
Right.
Therefore, the predator fish have a bit more advantage.
Okay, so the pressure side of the rock, guys, say my fist is a rock, the current's going that way, the kingfish sit on the front of it, on the pressure side of the rock. So that's a pretty good clue how to find these fish. So when then we found them, mate, and selecting our lures, at Maria come in the 230 size and the 190 size. So what would you say to, which one do you put on, mate?
It's always better to match the head. So if the bait around is, for example, at the moment is a lot of squid and jack max,
Yeah,
you want to go with the 190 mil.
yeah,
If you see that you're catching too much of a small fish, then I suggest moving to a bigger bait.
right.
Yeah.
And what about colours, mate? Is that just a bit random on the day, whatever works, or do you have any favourites?
Personally, I'm not a color type of person, so anything works as long as you make it swim right.
Right.
The main idea is whatever lures you grab, just make it swim the best to the ability to your gear that you use.
Yep.
So if you use a heavy rod, obviously it's going to be a bit harder to swim the lure.
Yeah.
You want a rod that have a little bit of give in the tip.
Yeah.
I recommend to go down in line size in diameter as well.
Yeah.
So nothing over PE4 really for the golf, so just easier to cast further.
Okay.
And easier to make a light lure walk, like a treat. Yeah.
So a lighter rod, so PE4,
Yeah.
PE4 to 5 kind of rod,
Yeah, I'd say PE3 to 5. Yeah.
PE3 to 5 kind of rod,
Yes, yeah.
and PE, same, so match the braid to that. And then how about the leader diameter? What are you using there?
Leader, if I don't have any wind, I'll go down inside of the leader, so like 40 to 60 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then if I feel fish in a risk area, what we call like anything under 12 meter, with quite a bit of current, then I'll go up to 80, maybe 100.
What about tides, mate? Is there any particular tide that you like the most for catching the kingfisher in the Hauraki Gulf?
I prefer low tide.
Low tide.
So outgoing, it's always a better results, especially in volume. Yeah, bigger fish and much more of them.
Yeah, and there's quite a few sharks around at the moment, eh, mate? Yeah, I know you.
You found it the hard way this morning.
I know we hooked 2 good fish this morning. Both got eaten by sharks. Is there anything you can do, mate, to lessen your chance of getting sharked?
Always be ready for the hookup. Keep your eyes on the lure.
Yeah.
See if you get any follows. Once you get strike, get into position and pump and wind as soon as you can.
So go hard on it. Try and get to the boat as fast as you can.
Yeah. Just get it away from the shark. So once you just hold it there, it's basically like live baiting. And sharks have the advantage of basically just smashing into the kingfish.
Okay. And as far as technique goes, so you gave me a really good tip, and that was to make sure your line's slack in the water before you do your sweep. Is that right?
Yeah, so some lures they'll have a bit more slack, so once you put, especially if you have a stiffer rod, once you have a little bit of a slack, it's easier to dip, so you have like a towing point on the lure where you connect your leader to.
Yeah.
Once you have a little bit of a slack on your pull, you basically create a bit more of a motion, easier to dip into the water and then make the swim and let it pop up and be ready to do it again.
Yeah.
You can determine the rhythm, of retrieve. On the day, sometimes you go slow, sometimes you go fast. Once you start to get follows, I suggest just start to do slow jerks, pump and wind in the water, just make
Little
the
short
lure,
ones.
make the lure just go dive a bit harder, a bit more erratic movement, and just to fire them up so they can fight, and who's going to get it.
So when you see them following, like do shorter, sharper jab strokes kind of deal?
and not long, real short.
Real short ones.
Short. So basically your rod will load. Once your rod loading, before it starts to spring, give it a half a wind, let it spring back, and be ready for the next one.
Okay. All right. And hooks. So what do you recommend? You know, here's Mark's one. How do you rig your hooks, man? What do you recommend for out here in the Harrogate Gulf?
I promote single, and if you can barbless, just damage less fish, and also if you get hooked to your hand or to your body, it's
Yeah.
easier to remove.
Right.
Especially if you want to catch and release, always crush the barb.
Always crush the barb when you.
The main
stick bait
idea
it.
to make the stick bait swim good is you go back to manufacturer recommendation. So most of the buoyancy come from here, right? You
Yeah.
have a little bit of a tail weight, so it normally sits upright. You want something that will not be too heavy or too light. If it's too light, your lure is just going to skip to the surface.
Right.
If it's too heavy, it's just going to dive a bit deeper.
Right.
You want to be able to just get it right, so you just go with the recommendation of the manufacturer, basically. I
Right.
guess this one's probably wants 3x or 4x.
Yeah.
A lot of them do it by owner ST66.
Okay.
Find the hook size right for your lure and just the weight, and then
Okay.
it's going to swim effortless.
All right.
Another thing I do is just before the lure meets the water, I flick my bottom, so I'm ready for my first whip. I don't let it hang for too long over there.